This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:15). This is Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Imported rice stocks will arrive in the island tomorrow. The third dose of the COVID vaccine will be provided for all over 20 years of age. The government is planning to reduce the charges of electricity bills. Interprovincial bus operations begins from the 21st of this month. There is a high demand for tea manufactured using organic fertilizer in the world market. And in news overseas, deadly attack hits Kunduz Mosque during yesterday's prayers. Those were the headlines, and now move on to the details of the local news. Minister Bandula Gunawardana says that the rice stocks imported by the government will arrive in the island tomorrow. These stocks will be provided to the consumers through the Sathosa outlets for lower than 100 rupee per kilo next week. He stated that the government has taken measures to import several essential food items in the future as well. State Minister Channa Jayasumana says that the government has decided to provide a third dose for all over 20 years of age in the country. At present, 2/3 of the age group between 20 to 30 have been vaccinated. He also said that the vaccination of individuals over 30 years of age is nearing completion. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking.
And we continue with more local news. State Minister Dilum Amanugama says that the interprovincial bus operations will begin from the 21st of this month. He also said that attention has been paid on beginning new school transport services by the Sri Lanka Transport Board. Meanwhile, the private bus owners of the Uva province who faced many difficulties due to corona pandemic have been given relief vouchers. The program was conducted at the Badula Uva province auditorium yesterday under the patronage of Minister Dilum Amanugama. Accordingly, 85,000 rupees to 100,000 rupees have been paid for 1,500 bus owners. Commissioner of Tea Board Jayantha Edirasinha says that there will be high demand for Sri Lankan tea cultivated using organic fertilizer in the world market. At present, 160 compost biofertilizer centers with a capacity of 100,000 produce has been set up. Programs are also underway to begin fertilizer producing at rural level by Small Tea Estate Development Authority. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Imported rice stocks will arrive in the island tomorrow. The third dose of the COVID vaccine will be provided to all over 20 years of age. The government is planning to reduce the charges of electricity bills. Interprovincial bus operations begins from the 21st of this month. There is a high demand for tea manufactured using organic fertilizer in the world market. And that was the local news.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, Minister Johnston Fernando says that the government has planned to reduce the electricity bills. He said the opposition is making allegations that electricity power plants have been handed over to the US without any understanding about it. There is a need to reduce the charges of electricity bills when compared to the Asian countries in the region. He made these remarks at a program initiated under the Sabagi Dakma program held in Kurunagala today. The government is also paying attention on the issues of milk powder and and fertilizer. The present government's aim is to safeguard national security and ensure democracy in the country. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight.
And in Watchlight, the health sector has warned that the breeding of dengue mosquitoes can increase with the prevailing rainy condition. More than 13,000 dengue cases have been reported during the past few months. Therefore, the health sector has emphasized that all should pay attention to destroy mosquito breeding places. And that came to you in Watchlight.
World News.
Headlines of the world news: deadly attack hits Kunduz Mosque during yesterday's prayer. Chinese president says reunification must be fulfilled. Singapore opens quarantine-free travel to major countries. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the world news. A suicide bomb attack on a mosque in the Afghan city of Kunduz has killed at least 50 people, officials say, in the deadliest assault since the US forces left. Bodies were seen scattered inside the Said Abad mosque used by the minority Shia Muslim community. More than 100 people were injured in the blast in the northern city. The Islamic State group said it was behind the attack. Sunni Muslim extremists have targeted Shias who are seen as heretics. ISK, the Afghan regional affiliation of the IS group that is violently opposed to the governing Taliban, has carried out several bombings recently, largely in the east of the country. China's President Xi Jinping has said that reunification with Taiwan must be fulfilled as heightened tension over the island continue. Mr. Xi said unification should be achieved peacefully, but warned that the Chinese people had a glorious tradition of opposing separatism. In response, Taiwan said its future lay in the hands of its people. Taiwan considers itself as a sovereign state, while China views it as a breakaway province. Beijing has not ruled out the use of possible force to achieve unification. Some analysts say the flights could be seen as a warning to Taiwan's president ahead of the island's National Day on Sunday. Singapore is opening its borders to more countries for quarantine-free travel as the city-state seeks to rebuild its status as an international aviation hub and prepares to reach a new normal to live with COVID-19. From October 19th, fully vaccinated people from 8 countries, including Britain, France, Spain and the United States, will be able to travel and enter the island without quarantining if they pass the COVID-19 test, the government said, according to a Reuters report. The announcement marks a major step in Singapore's strategy to resume international links. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Deadly attack hits Kunduz Mosque during yesterday's prayers. Chinese president says reunification must be fulfilled. Singapore opens quarantine-free travel to major countries. And that was the world news.
And now in development news.
In development news, the Ministry of Tourism says nearly 1,000 Russian tourists will arrive in the country within the next few weeks. Allocating of air tickets has already been completed. The program to bring tourists will be implemented under the package of Buy One, Get One, which was introduced by the Ministry of Tourism. That was the development news. Sports news coming up.
Sports news.
Moving on to sports news, the second T20 match between the visiting Sri Lanka team and the Oman team will be held in another 3 hours. The match will be played at Al Amiran Playgrounds. Nuan Pradeep and Kushal Janith Pereira will not participate in today's match. The Sri Lanka team is leading the tournament by 1-0. That was the sports news, business news coming up.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, the government is stepping up efforts to resolve issues and devise policies to optimize the growth within the entire industrial sector. Steps have been taken to resolve issues identified in 19 sectors due to the import restrictions and adverse impacts of COVID pandemic in consultation with the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank and the Customs. Industries Minister Vimal Veeravansa made these remarks during a meeting with the Advisory Council Chairman and industrialists last week. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
And in economic news, Deputy Director of Research of the Tea Board, Dr. Kirti Mohotti says that several measures will be taken in the future to use organic fertilizer for tea cultivations together with the Tea Research Institute and the Export Development Board. He pointed out that the organic fertilizer concept has become very popular in Europe to minimize the damages to the environment. That is economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says that the showery condition over the southwestern part of the island is likely to enhance up to a certain extent during the next few days. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northwestern, northern and north central provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places elsewhere in the afternoon or night. Wind speed can increase up to 50 kilometers per hour at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern and north central provinces and in the Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. That was the weather report. Before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. Imported rice stocks will arrive in the island tomorrow. The third dose of the COVID vaccine will be provided to all over the age of 20. The government is planning to reduce the charges of electricity bills. Interprovincial bus operations begins from the 21st of this month. There is a high demand for tea manufactured using organic fertilizer in the world market. And in news overseas, deadly attack hits Kunduz Mosque during yesterday's prayers. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.